Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is Els coming to you from Beamish Crafty Corner, and I have another project for us. And this one is a very simple bookmark, okay? And it's just very little bits of beadwork at the top here, and a little tassel at the bottom, some ribbon, and some very simple connections for ribbon. And that's it. It just goes into your book just like that and hangs off. And you can add extra beads to this, obviously, if you want to. But very simple to begin with. So what are we going to need for this project? Well, that's an easy one. We're going to need some ribbon. And we're going to need some thin cord. You can use silk like I did on this one. You can use yarn like this, or you can use these friendship bracelet pieces that you can get in the kids section of the hobby shop. We are going to be using some different pieces of metal here. We're going to be using a small piece of chain, a couple of beads, and some wings. We're also going to be using some end fasteners for the ribbon and some jump rings. Okay, so one other thing we may be using here, get out of there. Okay, definitely going to need some scissors. We're going to be using a couple of different pairs of pliers and a giant fork. So if you have a giant fork that you use for the holidays and that's the only time you use it, now's a good time to get it out because we're going to be using it today. Okay. The other thing is a different pair of pliers. These are Teflon coated pliers, and they're specifically designed for closing these ribbon fasteners, okay, without marring them. If you don't have these, that's okay. You can use a small piece of fabric or even a piece of your extra ribbon and put it over the fastener and just go ahead and hit it with your regular needle nose pliers. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Be right back. Okay, so to make one of these little angels, it's just a few pieces. I like to use a head pin that has the little ball on the end here. Let me bring this up so you can see. There's a small ball on the end, and that's the way the head pin is. We're going to be using about 5 or 6 links of chain, a pearl, a crystal, and one of these wing charms, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're building your angel from the bottom up. So you're going to be putting her body on first, and then her wings. And we're going to be using the pearl as the head, so we're going to put that on. And then for the purposes of being expedient, I'm going to be using my loop pliers here. And so I'm going to just feed this bead right through, feed the wire right through the little hole in the back here. I'm going to hold on to that piece, and I'm just going to pinch this together, and that's going to cut off my excess wire, and it's going to create my loop all at the same time. Then I am going to fish that little loop onto my chain, and it offsets it just a little bit. So now all I have to do is just put that back, and that's simply just twisting it back towards the wire, just like this. Okay, so now my chain is on, and my little angel is made, and I'm just going to set this one to the side because it's not the one we're going to be using for this project. I just wanted to show you how to do it. So this is the one we're going to be using for this project. We'll get these loop pliers out of the way. All right, so so one of the parts of this that's kind of important is the tassel on the end. And you have to get this tiny little jump ring in here. So there is a trick to it, and it's using a fork. And all you do is just open a jump ring and set it on the fork, and then you cut about 1 yard of the thread that you're going to be using, and what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around the fork and go through the loop. Okay? Now, after you've done this about 10-15 times, It's going to hold it there where you want it to be. If you need it to be a little bit higher, you could just use your pliers and kind of roll it around. Okay, and we're just going to keep threading through that jump ring until we've got a pretty good collection here. Oops, that one came out. I'm going to try and keep those in there. Okay. So now I've gone about as far as I want to go with this. So I'm going to take my pliers, I'm going to pinch the two ends together of my jump ring. Make sure I get those back where they need to be. There we go. Just like that. And then I'm going to cut this off. And I'm going to take the excess string and I'm going to go through the tines here about 3 times. And I'm going to make sure that I stay in the same hole here. That's once, twice, last one. 3 times. Okay? And then I'm just going to slide the whole thing off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these down so they're a little bit more manageable. I'm going to slide this up nice and tight up against the top here. And then I'm just going to tie a square knot. Okay. So far, so good? All right. Then I'm just going to cut these loops open. Bring them together and just trim off anything that's excess. Okay? And there I have a small tassel. Okay? That's the second part. That's the bottom. So we have one at the top, one at the bottom. All right. So the next part here is going to be actually putting together our bookmark. And what we want is roughly 8 to 9 inches of ribbon. I usually go about 8.5, and I'm just going to cut that off. Move that to the side. And that is where these little connectors are going to come in, okay? So you basically just put these on the end of the ribbon, and then you use your Teflon pliers to crimp this down because they have tiny little teeth in them. Okay, so we're going to put this on the ribbon. Now, if you want, before you do this, burn the end of your ribbon. Okay? You can burn it after. No big deal. So I'm going to place the ribbon in, and then I'm going to use my Teflon pliers, and I'm just going to crimp this down. And I'm going to squeeze it pretty good because I want that ribbon to stay in there. Okay? Alright, that's in there. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. And then we're going to do the other side again. I'm going to pre-burn this. I'm going to place the cap on. Come in with my crimpers. Keep it as straight as possible and crimp it down. Now you see this piece I got hanging out over here? See that? Watch. Bye-bye. Okay. So now we have a crimp on either side. So we're going to do the bottom part first. So I'm just going to take a jump ring. And like I've said, you just open this by holding one end and pulling towards you, not opening it up wide, you just want to separate the ends. And then we're going to fish this through the hole that's right here at the top. There's a little piece for it. So we're going to fish that through. We're going to take our tassel. We're going to add our tassel to the top here. And then we're just going to push the two ends back together so that they meet up. We're going to go to the other side. We're going to get another jump ring. We're going to open up the second jump ring. We're going to fish that through. And then we're going to get our piece with our chain. We're going to put it through the last link of the chain. Then we're going to put the two pieces back together. And there it is. Our little angel bookmark. That's it. It's that easy, guys. Okay, so that's it. Those are my easy ribbon bookmarks that you can put in your junk journals or even just a regular book that you're reading. With the little angels at the top. And you know, if you don't like angels, you don't have to use angels. I just used the angels because I thought that they were appropriate for this and they were very dainty. And so I just added those on there. You could put any charm you wanted to on this. You could add extra charms to it if you want to. It is entirely up to you. Anyway, I want to thank you so much. If you haven't done so already, hit that red button and subscribe for me. And like me, ring my bell and share me with all your friends because I'm making little bookmarks. Bye-bye.